What's going on, everyone? This is SqueakyClean here, and today we are beginning to work on Manbear's Hellcat wide body charger. Stay tuned. It's gonna go on SqueakyClean Air.
I'm just trying to give you something spooky out to for you. I'm just trying to give you something. I'm just trying to give you something spooky out to for you. I'm just trying to give you something.
Okay, so the fronts are done. Not a very complicated setup. We have two kits for this vehicle. One of the kits utilizes the factory Bilstein shocks, phenomenal suspension. And it gives you the ability to utilize the OEM suspension, you know, in order to be able to get an amazing ride. However, we do use our own customized rear bag, so our kit includes our own rear customized bag. We do have an ability to replace full struts, so not utilizing these, but you do lose a DDS, which is the dampness control adjustability, ride control. It's more geared towards stance and guys that want to sort of go crazy on the Chargers and Challengers, but this is a good option. So we already finished this one. So this is OEM shock that's converted using a specialized bag. So you got to remove the spring using spring compressors, and then the kit comes with everything else that you need in order to build the strut. So let's go have a look. I'll guide you guys through on what you need to remove. So the struts, top mounts are underneath the coolant reservoir, I believe. This is what that is. And this has to be removed. And then the other one is underneath this valve pump of some sort that's here. I'm not really sure what it is. But let me show you this side. So very simple. Remove the end links. It's got a sway bar end link in the back. The factory engineers created this little plastic piece which allows you to sort of rest the whole suspension piece on the tie rods for the suspension over here. It has upper control arms, so loosen up the control arms to drop the whole spindle assembly, and that will allow you to then remove the shock. So it's pretty straightforward. I like how these Bilsteins have the bolts incorporated, so you never have to worry about which direction these should be going back on. That's kind of cool by Chrysler engineers or Bilstein engineers. And that's pretty much it for the front. The rear is a separated setup. A lot of the Chargers, Challengers, and Jeeps utilize very similar suspension dynamics from Chrysler and or Dodge. These cars are not very hard to bag actually, but you kind of need to know what you're doing. But we do offer two types of suspensions for this car. This is more sort of for you know, guys and girls that kind of like to retain the factory ride, the ability to customize sort of your hard soft settings that come with the car. And of course, because this one has a separate reservoirs or the controllers over here for the ability to control the ride quality, you will not get a code. The other kit that we have that removes all this and puts in a shorter shock allows you, I wouldn't say more drop, but allows you more flexibility, because then you can use a different type of a bag. And you're able to sort of do more camber adjustments with upper camber arms, because they do offer camber arms for these cars, upper camber arms. For sort of like a nice air out, because the car will air out to the ground, and nice ride quality. For comfort, this is the best solution. We do not utilize a single bellow bag in the rear. We feel the double bellow bag is a little bit better for presets and for digital management, which is one of the common issues with single bellow bags, where they don't really hit presets correctly. So this is much it for the front, and I'm gonna remove the shock. We're gonna convert it, put it back in, and then I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about the rear. What's going on, everyone? This is Matt SqueakyClean Air. So we're back, and the fronts are already in. They're inflated. The lines are ran to the back of the car. I'm going to show you guys how to remove the rear springs. It's a bit tricky. You got to drop the exhaust a little bit, but it's not too bad. So here are the lines so far, running them through the sides of the actual vents of the bumper. And let's talk about the rear spring. So the best way to remove the rear springs of a Charger, Challenger, similar 300s, is to remove the center bolts. The chassis is actually very similar to the Mercedes, kind of very similar idea with Mercedes as well. The reason why you can't really remove it from here is because it's a pivot, and there's a lot of things that are in the ways. Like, for example, the end link over here. I did remove the strut or the shock bolt, just so I get a little bit more leverage in order to remove the spring. Now, you need to obviously support the lower control arm, because you need to relieve the tension of the spring as the spring is under tension. But what you're going to do is you're going to remove the bolt here in order to be able to drop the lower control arm as well as the shock. But here's the problem. The exhaust on the Hellcat RedEye wide body is in the way of the actual bolt. So what you got to do is you got to kind of semi-drop the exhaust, not fully drop the exhaust, but you're not going to remove it from any of the rubber mounts. First, what you're going to do is you're going to remove the bolt that retains this one over here, so it gives you movement leverage. Because essentially what you want to do is you want to just be able to drop it like this, so you can get at that bolt. So what you're going to do is, for the valve setup over here, there is, let me show you guys, there's another holder that's right there. As you guys can see, there's another holder, and it's held by a 13mm screw. So what you want to do is you want to remove that, slide out the holder like I did over here. That'll give you additional leverage to actually move the tailpiece down just enough, because right now it doesn't move, just enough to be able to get at this bolt. While this is under pressure, you're going to remove this bolt, and then when you remove this bolt, you're gently going to lower down the control arm, and then you'll be able to pop out the spring. That's all there is to it for the rears. So pay attention to these. You do have to move the exhaust because this pipe is huge. It's in the way of this bolt over here. The best way to do it is by removing the 13mm from the inner bracket over here, and then the 13mm that holds the muffler, and then that's it. You're able to get to the lower control arm. Once you have the lower control arm, you can see the spring seat, which is in there. Dismount the spring. There's a hump on the top, and that's it. Run your lines. All right, we're back. So I did a little bit of a custom setup for this wide body Hellcat. The customer wanted a wrap tank, so we went a little step further. I got the blue as close as I can to the actual NOS bottle, and I actually purchased an authentic replacement sticker. So this is not a digital print, this is directly from NOS, so it's kind of cool. And I kind of put it at an offset and did a little bit of a hardline setup, the two compressors. So did a clean trunk setup at the customer's request. But what's really cool about it is it turned out pretty good. It actually looks like a real NOS bottle, but all it is a 2.5 gallon powder coated black tank, wrapped, but I got the authentic NOS sticker, and it just adds a really nice touch to it. So I'm gonna just put it right into the car, and pretty much that's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, it turned out really nice and clean. So I'll send you guys, I'll show you guys the video of the car actually aired out tomorrow when I take it out. Right now it's raining in Canada, and so I can't really take it out for a rip. I'm going to install it, put it in, and take the car air out and do like a daytime video tomorrow. So stay tuned.